Well, hello there and welcome. EndeavourOS Atlantis has just been released. I'm wondering how this popular Arch-based distro has evolved since the last release I tested a couple of months ago. Let's take a look together. The new Atlantis release promises many improvements, some of which we'll cover in this video. They include NVIDIA installation improvements, new and fast ButterFS Z-standard default compression, in-house kernel management, and much more. Let's fire up our test machine. All right, we're booting the Atlantis ISO, and we don't have an NVIDIA card with this KVM, which installs the Nouveau drivers for NVIDIA cards. So we'll skip that and just do the regular boot up. And we're standing by for the live installer environment, which should be XFCE by default. Yes, it is. Let's fix the display resolution by changing it to 1920 by 1080. That looks pretty good. Let's also first update the mirrors. So as you can see, we're in the United States. We're using the 10 mirrors and sorting them by rate. So it's rating the mirrors now. And looks like this will be written to etc pacman.d mirror list. So let's save it. And let's click on software news and see what's new in the EndeavourOS world. So, yeah, we've got some announcements from earlier this year. We've got the known issues section here, which we should definitely check out. Some ISO issues, Community Edition can't be installed simultaneously, no internet connection issue that some people report, some app unexpected behavior issues, NVIDIA system issues for system update, and Ethernet compatibility issues. So looks like we don't have those today. But I also want to draw your attention to the user commands bash example, where you can run and modify to suit for customizing your EndeavourOS install before the actual live installation. Among other things, you can select and list your packages that you want installed out of the box. Some packages you're not interested in and want removed, etc., etc. So this nice user commands bash script allows you to do that. So I think that's a wonderful thing that they are sharing on their GitLab. So let's launch the EndeavourOS installer, the Community Edition. I want to walk through the Calamari steps here and show you the base install package list that you can select or unselect as needed for your base install. It's very handy. You can also select on top of the base install the BSPWM edition or the Sway edition, with the same selection for the base packages. So those are for the community editions. So let me close that. We won't do that today, but instead we'll start the regular online installer. The online method lets you choose your desktop with vanilla theming. The offline just installs the image as in the live ISO and no internet connections required. But we want to do KDE Plasma today to have a good comparison of our last review. So we're running the latest Calamares installer. The defaults look okay for my environment. We'll use BTRFS or ButterFS because this is a rolling Arch-based distro. We need to be able to do snapshots and rollbacks if needed. So we have EFI system and EndeavourOS root file systems partitioned today. For the base develop common packages, this is what it installs. So it'll let you know there's no guesswork as to which packages will be installed. I'd also like to generally install the long-term kernel, the LTS kernel, and also KDE today, and also printing support. So cups and other services will be available. So I'll put in Stephen and Poseidon as the host name, because of course. So on top of that, I will put in my password twice to verify. We'll use the same password for the administrator account. So this is the summary of our installation steps. So let's go ahead and install now. And through the magic of video editing, the download and installation and configuration will not take any time at all, practically. See, it's already doing the final install steps, including some post-installation cleanup tasks, and it's done. Let me click Restart Now and click Next. Oh no, I can't do that. Next is disabled, even though it's not grayed out. I wish the EndeavourOS team will fix that eventually, maybe next ISO release. So we've got a few options here. We've got the Linux LTS or the regular Linux kernel boot. So we'll do the LTS boot today. And we've agreed it with SDDM as our display manager. So, and there we go. There's KDE. Let's change the display resolution to 1920 by 1080. And as you can see in the bottom left here, the KDE Discover program is just not working. It's an unknown application folder. So let's go ahead and fix that before we do anything else today. We'll launch console. And let's make this a little bigger and increase the font size a few times so you can see better what I type. Let's check the mirror list with cat etc pacman.d mirror list. And as you can see, our initial configurations are all from the United States, so it carried over from the install. Yay is also available for AUR, etc. So looks like we're synced and we're all up to date. So let's install yay-S discover and also the backend, the package kit-qt5. And let's go ahead with that installation. And let's wait for it. Let's look on the bottom left here of the screen. And there it is. Discover it, the Software Center is now available. So let's go ahead and launch it. As you can see, this is a very nice list of featured applications. We're up to date. Alt-U gives you that. So as you can see, if I look in the Office menu here, submenu, no real Office programs other than the viewer have been installed. So let's fix that by using Discover to install LibreOffice. And there it is. So I'll go ahead and click Install. So it's downloading the package of LibreOffice, all the sub-packages along with it. And then it's installing. And once that's done, let's go ahead and look in the Office menu here. As you can see, all the LibreOffice packages have been installed. So let's launch LibreOffice. Let's go to Help, About LibreOffice, and here we're running version 7.2.3.2. LibreOffice Community, an Arch package. Cool. So that's how that works. We know Discover is working. All right, that's fixed. Let's take a look at the LSB release file. So we're running EndeavourOS, not a surprise. This is a rolling distribution release. So a good thing we have the root file system formatted as ButterFS. Let's check the file system table. As you can see, in addition to all the subvolumes, home and cache and log, we've got compression equals Z standard, which is a newer, faster compression algorithm available in the newer kernels. So let's check for Pipewire. Pipewire is the new default. So it's pulse audio on Pipewire 0.3.40. All right, let's clear the console and let's check what services are running. So Poseidon is running Pipewire, various Pipewire services, Plasma services, dbus, package kit, which we just installed, network manager, cups, uPower, SDDM, display manager, time synchronization is running, Avahi, and the login daemon. All right, pretty good defaults here. NeoFetch, which is already installed, shows we're running the latest LTS kernel, 5.10.83. We have 5.15 available as well. Plasma is 5.23.4, which is the latest, as far as I know. The Breeze default themes. We're also only running 851 megabytes for this full desktop environment. That's not bad. So next, let's install timeshift-autosnap using EA. We'll go ahead and build timeshift for the latest and greatest. We'll just hit enter for all the defaults, enter our password, and let it build and install. AutoSnap, what it does is for every system update, it does a system snapshot automatically, so you can roll back if an update went bad. Very handy with a rolling distro. So let's launch timeshift. Enter the password. It detected ButterFS as a snapshot type. VDA2 as our root partition, our root subvolume. It keeps 5 dailies, and we'd like to exclude the home subvolume and enable BTRFS queue groups. And the setup is already complete. So let's create our first snapshot, which happens in less than a second. Good, so we're safe. So if we screw up going forward, we can always roll back to our known good current condition of the system. And I demonstrate rollbacks in other videos if you're interested. So after install, tab, we've got update mirrors, which we've already done, update system, that's done with Yay. Package cleanup configuration, it sets a weekly cleaning period, and it keeps 3 package versions in the queue. For EOS update notifier, it checks after 30 seconds after system startup, and otherwise it does it daily. And the notification is persistent to make sure that you keep your system, your rolling release up to date. We can also here change display manager. We're currently running SDDM. If you're running GNOME, GDM, Cinnamon, LightDM, LXQT, you'd use LXDM, etc. So very handy to change your display manager as needed in your explorations. Here we've got the EndeavourOS default wallpaper already visible. We can also choose one of the EndeavourOS wallpapers that aren't installed yet, so let's fix that by installing. We'll pull the other wallpapers off the internet. So it's receiving those objects or wallpapers. It's asking for the root password so it can install them. And that should make them available. And we can choose one of the other wallpapers, the classic ones from EndeavourOS itself, and also a bunch of community wallpapers. So you can get started with customization and wallpapers. Another very handy tool are the EndeavourOS log tools group. So when you are asking for help on the EndeavourOS forum, you can include your logs and your configurations here. You can also have the option of removing your personal data from logs. And definitely want to do that for privacy reasons. You can select the Welcome Initial tab, which is 2 in this case. That's the After Install tab. We'll leave that there. Under the Assistant tab, you've got Update System, Update Mirrors, PackDiff and Meld, browse all Arch packages, browse the AUR, the Arch user repository, which is fully available to you. That launches Firefox. So you can search, using a keyword search, your favorite AUR packages if you'd like to. Here we've got the application categories. That launches the Arch Linux wiki and gives you a nice list of common Arch applications that you can configure. Speaking of configuration, if you do the KDE information button, that'll give you the KDE Arch wiki, where you can learn all about configuring a KDE desktop environment. Under tips, we have the usual suspects, package management, etc. The tutorial and personal commands, drag and drop. With my previous EndeavourOS video, I cover that. So we'll skip that today in the interest of brevity. You can install LibreOffice, which we already did, Chromium, Firewall, which I strongly encourage you to configure. For today, let's install a kernel manager, or AKM for short. That happens very quickly after you enter your password. And let's take a look. Under All Applications, you've got AKM, which is an in-house EndeavourOS tool. Simple kernel manager. You can take a look at what you've got currently installed, what's available. So the kernel.org version, current stable is 5.15.6, which we have installed. And the long term is 5.10.83, which we're currently running with, and is designated by this asterisk here. You also have the Linux hardened and Linux Zen kernels available. You can install and configure. Very convenient. Under General Info, let's click on the website. So this is the EndeavourOS.com homepage. The Atlantis release is in orbit. Okay. So it's a friendly community, a powerful and flexible base. Create your own destiny with an incredible journey. Yes, so here they encourage you to get busy and start learning. This is a wonderful distro to do that. Here we've got a list of mirrors where you can download the ISO. You've got XFCE, Mate flavors, XFCE is default, Cinnamon, GNOME, Plasma, which we're currently running, Budgie, LXQT, then some window managers, i3, BSPWM, and Sway, which are community editions that you have option for. Under the news section, you've got the Atlantis release, different languages, including Greek, You've got the installation help here with a bunch of articles. So if you run into any issues in your own installations, I definitely encourage you to check out these articles, which are searchable. You've got the EndeavourOS wiki as opposed to the Arch wiki. So you've got a bunch more articles here that EndeavourOS hosts on its website. It's part of the Open Invention Network. Lots of reading material here. Got also the community forum, which is very friendly. I strongly encourage you to make use of it. Definitely use this instead of the Arch forums and support, because this is not Arch, this is Arch-based, and so they don't like it if you use send your EndeavourOS questions there. This is the donation page. They're part of the Open Collective, and they will show you how to donate to this wonderful project. I definitely encourage you to consider donation if you've got money burning holes in your pocket. Under info, we have the GitHub section. So you've got discussion on the EndeavourOS installer, and all the little bits and features that make EndeavourOS special, including the Calamares installed configurations. Here you've got a link to the EndeavourOS ISO build instructions that takes you straight to the GitHub EndeavourOS ISO page. And it gives you some front matter here, including resources to help you, some boot options, and also, perhaps more importantly, more interestingly, to me at least, how to build the ISO. So you've got just a few simple instructions that you can follow and build your own ISO after you've made, for example, some of your own customizations. So this is super handy and a super learning experience if you're new to Arch. EndeavourOS offers much more for the Linux curious, which can't be covered properly with any single review video. I can see why it continues to be so popular on DistroWatch, even unseating the currently reigning MX Linux for at least the past several days. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did making it. If so, please stick your trident into the like button as hard as you can and click subscribe and notify to be sure you don't miss out. Until next time, take care.